Hello all. So today we'll be talking about AWS Lambda. It's been long time. I have not uploaded any video, so sorry for that. So in this video, I'm going to cover a very major topic of AWS services, that is AWS Lambda, which is being widely used in multiple companies. And I'll show you why it is being used. I'll go through the hands-on on this. So before that, I'll take you to the little bit theory. What is the use of AWS Lambda and why it is so much in use? So if you have little bit idea about EC2, then you must know what is the server. Because EC2 gives you a number of a server, it provides you. What is the problem with the EC2? If you see that every time you have to go, you have to launch EC2 server. When you are not working with the EC2 server, you have to go manually and you have to either terminate or stop the server. So this get clumsy after certain. If you have very small work, you cannot create server for every work. So at that point, AWS Lambda comes into play, where for even a small task, you can create AWS uh, script in Lambda, which will help you to trigger your multiple services like S3 bucket, and you can even check whether the EC2 machine is running or not. Based on your script, you can even terminate all the non-use EC2 machines. So these are the basic use. Let's go down and let's see what else we can use. So you can see there are what AWS actually compute offers: EC2, ECS, and AWS Lambda. So basically in my videos I have covered EC2 and I'm going to cover AWS Lambda. There will be multiple videos on AWS Lambda will be coming, where few projects also I'll be doing on AWS Lambda. So if you can see here, EC2 is a virtual server in the cloud which will be handled manually. Okay, whereas in case of AWS Lambda, it is a serverless part. It has when you create a virtual server in cloud, there is some hardware storage. Not anywhere, could be Amazon could store it anywhere, but in case of AWS Lambda, you need not to worry where your uh, data is going, who is managing your data. Everything will be uh, automatic. So AWS Lambda is a serverless compute platform for stateless code execution in response to event. So it is a event based, event driven function. Okay, basically AWS Lambda is a function. You will be writing multiple functions over there. Okay, and all those functions are event driven, means you require an event to drive those functions. So this is how it works. uh Serverless compute, stateless. So these are the few things that people search and what AWS written. You can see here AWS serverless architecture with AWS environment variables. I'll show you what is environment variable in AWS, how to create all these things. But the most important benefit is no server to manage. In case of EC2, you have to manage your EC2 machines. Whereas in case of Lambda, you don't have to manage any of the server. Everything will be automatic. Continuous scaling. Since things are very automatic, you need not to go scale it down and scale it up. Everything will be automatically. Once your task is done, it will automatically scale down. And no idle or cold server, means you do not require any storage place to store these servers. Okay, and pay per request. It is means it will help you a lot compared to EC2 machine, though both have their own importance in their own field. But in case of Lambda functions, yeah, you have see, as a human you could make error. In case of EC2 machine, you could left EC2 machine on, and you may forget and you will be chargeable at the end of uh, time, month, could be. In case of Lambda, you will be only charged for the uses, whereas when you will not be using, it will automatically scale down. So here human error will be very minimal, so which helps to uh, which help to cost optimization, which is again one of the topic which I'll be covering in the very next video. The very cost optimization, important part of this one. So how AWS Lambda works and what are the functions, or what are the programming languages on which we can use these functions. So let's go and do hands-on on this one. I hope you got some pretty idea. It simply basically means You need not require any parameter to create like when you create EC2 machine, you need to give how much CPU you required and what is the configuration of that CPU, then how much RAM you require. All such things does not require in AWS Lambda function. Okay, these things will be automatic. So let's go and create our own AWS Lambda function. This is just an introduction. I won't go into the deep because in the very next video, it will be a series of Lambda function video where few projects I'll be doing, and slowly we'll get into the deeper part of this function. I'll just write AWS. Hope you have account in AWS. So my account and console. Okay, it's already open. No need to worry. Just write here Lambda. Okay, now you have to go and create a function on Lambda. So if you see here, three options you are getting: author from scratch, use blueprint, and container image. In this case, we'll be using author from scratch. Okay, what is the use of use blueprint? I'll just give you a brief idea. When you use blueprint, it will give you auto generated code which you can directly implement in as a AWS Lambda function. Okay, we may cover this one in our next video. And there is a container image. It basically means you can import your code as an image. Okay, you can convert your code using the Docker into the image. So that you can do, and you can import here and you can directly run that as a Lambda function. Now I'll use create from scratch. You need to give your function name. Let it be test. um, okay, nothing specific. Then you be careful, only the languages which are showing over here, you can use only those languages. If you want to use shell script, I guess you can't use shell script over here. So have the knowledge of pretty much these languages. I'll be using Python for now. Then below architecture, let it be x86 underscore 64. uh, Default execution. See, if you already have any existing role as a AM user, you have some roles of S3 bucket, use of S3 bucket. So you can use as a existing use an existing role. But for now, I'll be not using this one. I'll be using just a create a new role. This is the automatic generated role in this case. If you have no idea about AM console, you can go to my video. There I have discussed about AM, what is AM and how to be an AM user. Then there is a enable code signing enable function URL. Enable function URL basically allow you to access your function outside of this console, outside of this AWS. You will get a URL generated where you can access from anywhere. Okay. uh, for AWS AM user, if this URL will be for only AM users, or if you will click on none, yes, anyone can use this URL and anyone can access your function. Then enable VPC, we need not require. That is enable tags, no. All the things, let it be there. Just click on create function. It will take little bit time. Okay. So basically, from the next video, there are two main important topics in this case, where I'll be discussing about EBS volume, how we can use integrate EBS volume with Lambda function, along with that cost optimization. And there is a one also important part of Lambda function, that is security and compliance. How it helps in security? So basically, if someone is not allowed to use suppose EBS GB2 volume, GP2 volume, but still someone is using, so you can create a script over there that if someone is using directly, you can terminate those EBS volume, or you can send them a warning message as well through a script. So that's actually help you in your security enhancement. So now since we have created our function, you can see here is our function, below there is some layer, here is some add triggers and add destiny. These are optional, but triggers are very mostly used, because with these triggers you can use S3 bucket as a trigger. There are multiple things which I'll be using in the further videos, through which you can trigger your Lambda functions. As I told you that Lambda function is an event driven function, so it requires something to drive some events, and these events will be termed as a triggers for your functions. If you go below, you will get an auto generated code which is saying hello from Lambda. Okay. So basically we need to test this one, but before, if you will see, there is a defined function name as Lambda handler. You should not change this name, but even if you wish to change this name, you can go to the configuration and change the name. Okay, but mostly it's a suggestion that should not, you shouldn't use that one. Further you can make, let's go to general configuration. This are the memories stuff it is mentioning. Triggers, you can create your triggers from here. Add triggers. If you have some triggers like S3 bucket, there you can have triggers. AWS volume, you can have triggers. Then if you go to permissions, initially while creating, we focus on the role section, if you remember. So we can create a role over there. Automatically you get some role generated by, but you can edit this role as well. You just click over here, it will take you to the IAM page. Okay, and whatever the roles has been defined, you can go to add permission and then attach policies, and you can create your own policies. Whatever you don't have, you can create from your own over here. Okay, I'm just giving the brief about this one. For now, let's go back to our code and let's try to further configuration. I'll discuss in the recent coming topics, coming videos, because in this I'm just trying to give you a little bit glimpse of what is how AWS function Lambda functions look like and how it is to be done. So there is a function name, it is returning a status code of 200 and a body which is mentioning hello from Lambda. Since today is Diwali, so let's write happy Diwali. Okay, and we'll be printing this one. You should not use this one. Then for saving, you need to click on deploy. So it will basically save your all the customize function. Go to test. You need to write a event. If you already have event, you can create, you can trigger those events, but for now you can write your event name as well. Let it be test. Okay. Then after, you want to share this test with the rest of the IAM users or not, you can do this one. For now I don't have anyone for, so I'll be using this one. You can just remove this. We'll write our own test. So you just need to have little bit idea about JSON. What is the format of this one? Testing our function, and just save this one. Now let's go to test and click on test. The moment you will click, you can see a response has been generated as status code is 200 and the body with a message of happy Diwali. So this is the basic glimpse of AWS Lambda function, how it works. Okay. If you still have some confusion, you can comment down below, or you can ask in the chat as well. I will bring some more videos, some more practical videos, which will be containing some projects related to AWS Lambda function. Though it is a very vast, so I need to have some discrete section of each part. Uh, Still, if you have any confusion, comment down below, and if you like it, please do like. Thank you for this one, and I'll try to be continuous in uploading videos. Thank you so much.